Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, okay, so this is a brand new edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. This is the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game 22nd edition, first round draw. Last week we had, I think it was 7 people in the final round. Well, what turned out to be the final round anyway. As it was, only Shat had a winning fighter. So he's our current champion, and here we are with a new game. As for the new game, come with new contestants, and I think there is, if I've added them up right, I think there is a total of 31 entrants in this game. I think that's one of the highest, if not, it's around 31, 32 our highest ever. So it's an amazing turnout. Just waiting for this to load onto the screen. I swear since Zoom have done this update, everything's been slower. Anyway, these the contestants are A, laugh my off on AC, we just call him A from here on in. Bellatrix, Boom Shakalaka, Calfoth, Canhaga Ruiz, Captain Quebec, C. Collins 44, Cheeseball, Cool Hand Puke, Costradamus, Damien Handel 420, Dr. Maxis 2, El Guapo, is in again after his, I think he made his debut last time, so he's in again for this one. It's always good to see. Foghorn Sam, KK Kombu, Cushy Cake, Mason Zero, Mule Floyd, Piggy Bank, Rigno, current defending champion Shat, Schwer Industry, me, Stephen Terry. New entry, Sweet by Name. New entry for this game. So welcome and good luck on your debut. Tyson Magamainov, the Dirty UFC Man, the MMA Historian, Trail Allman, Trig, Troz, and ex-con Chris. So that there are contestants all there, and for the first rounds, we have UFC 304, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad 2. Obviously, a rematch from their very anticlimactic first match that ended in a no contest after Bilal got a nasty eye poke. The picture of it's gruesome. I think Leon's finger went like halfway into it. It's disgusting. So to be honest, despite being the British fighter, I am actually rooting for Bilal Muhammad in this one because it'd be nice to see him get his revenge after that. And as for the fight itself, well, it's I'm expecting it to go the distance because I know obviously Leon Edwards is going to be remembered for that head kick of Kamaru Usman, but let's not forget all the fights before that and his 2 fights, the rematch with Usman and Covington afterwards. So both all went as the distance. Very much was a point fighter, which is exactly what Bilal Muhammad gets a lot of undue criticism for as well, because Bilal also has a similar style that often ends up in fights going the distance. As for the fight itself, very close. I do think Edwards is going to take it simply because he's fought the better opposition. He's got Colby Covington. It's obviously the 2 matches against Kamaru Usman. He's obviously Bilal Muhammad as well. He's got that win against Gilbert Burns as well. So they've got, it's a close fight, but I do fancy Edwards to take it, even though I am rooting for Bilal Muhammad. Anyway, you're not here to listen to my nonsensical rambles. You're here to see who you're getting drawn with in the Lucky Bastard game. So just go onto the wheel now. Just make sure we're actually sharing this page. So I've been a little bit mistrusting of this whole update. But anyway, you think we're ready now? So first up is A. Let's see who he gets drawn with. That's if my wheel, there we go. Now it's spinning. And he gets Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda there for A. Pineda. So, yeah, he's up against Nathaniel Wood. Obviously, not a very good pick in terms of the betting. Nathaniel Wood minus 500 favourite, and I think so. He should be because Daniel Pineda's, let's be honest, is a bit of a journeyman in the UFC. He's a solid journeyman. Don't get me wrong, 28 wins and 15 losses, but Nathaniel Wood's not exactly a rookie himself. He's 19 wins, 6 losses. It's so he got plenty of experience. Plus, of course, he's the home fighter from the home country because obviously this is being held in Manchester. They're going to they should be rooting for the British fighters. You never can tell with the Mancunians, but that would also potentially sway the judges as well. But in any case, I've got Nathaniel Wood to win by decision. So quite a bit of luck needed if A's going to get through, if I'm being honest. Next to take on the wheel is Bellatrix. Bellatrix to take on the wheel. And Bellatrix gets Mohammed Makayev. Mohammed Makayev. Mohammed Makayev. I'm never sure what spelling of Mohammed is. Makayev. Or Makayev for that matter. But I think that's a solid pick. Up against Manel Cape. I don't really like Manel Cape as a fighter anyway, just because of all the times he's missed weight. Then they have that fight in hotel before it, so it's just a shit show really when he's around. But obviously, but as for the fight itself, I do fancy Makayev. He's undefeated so far. Obviously, some might argue that just means he's been untested so far, but his performances so far have been very impressive. I can expect him potentially to be a future champion in the division, and especially at flyweight, where it's not the deepest of talent pools. Let's be honest. I think this is just another step on the road to potential title shot. So anyway, that's quite a good pick anyway. So I reckon Bellatrix has got a good chance of getting through. And now we have Boom Shakalaka next to take on the wheel. Let's see who Boom Shakalaka gets drawn with for tomorrow night. He gets another home fighter, Molly McCann. Molly McCann there for Boom Shakalaka. And, well, you never really know what you're going to get with her, to be honest. She's one thing I will say about her is it's quite refreshing to see a women's MMA fighter that does finish a lot of her fights, both by submission and by knockout. So fair play to her for making it entertaining. A little bit inconsistent the result with the results, if I'm being honest. Having said that, she is now fighting at strawweight rather than flyweight, and she has looked good in her first flyweight strawweight fight down there, to her credit. And I do expect her to carry it on as well. Up against Bruna Brazil, I'm expecting her to get a third round KO in that one, simply because she does, as I mentioned earlier, prefer to finish fights inside the distance. So yeah, that's quite a good pick, all in all, for Boom Shakalaka. Cal Foth, next up. Froze a bit there. And Leon Edwards for Cal Foth. Leon Edwards there. Obviously the main eventer, or one of the main eventers. It takes two to tango, as they say. I do favour him to win, but it's a close fight and definitely a winnable one for Bilal Muhammad. Particularly if it was more of a wrestling match. I think on the feet, if it's a mostly standing affair, Leon takes it. More of a wrestling one, I think Muhammad takes it. But I would say he's a slight favourite. So all in all, could be a lot worse than that. But could be a lot worse given there are some quite heavy favourites, quite heavy underdogs on this card. So yeah, not bad all things considered. Can Hago Ruiz next to take on the wheel? Why is it not spinning? Here we go. Try click it again. There we go. Didn't register that first click. Gets Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons for Canhego Ruiz. And yeah, that's a little bit of a underdog there up against Oban Elliott. Obviously, another of the home fighters. I know I'm going to bang on about that a lot tonight, but it does make quite a big difference, if I'm being completely honest. So obviously, he's got that going against him. I've also got him to win by decision as well. And even without any perceived bias or home advantage, he's put together a very good little run in Cage Warriors. Also is on the Contender Series as well. So he's definitely one of the legitimate prospects coming out of Wales, particularly out of Britain as or as particularly, but yeah, particularly out of Wales, where you don't tend to get that many great Welsh fighters. So anyway, I just got completely distracted there, rambling on about him. You've got Preston Parsons, bit inconsistent, and yeah, the underdog for that one. Not an awful lot I can say about him. Last 3 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. So he could pull up an upset, but I'm not expecting an upset. So not a great one, if I'm being completely honest there. Captain Quebec next to take on the wheel. Let's see if he gets a slightly better one. And he gets Giga Chikadze. Giga Giga. I'm just going to call him Giga. Giga Chikadze, you know who I mean. And all in all, that's not too bad. I'm still expecting him I'm still expecting Arnold Allen to win, but it is definitely one of the closer fights. One thing that is going in Giga's favour is that Arnold Allen's lost his last 2 fights, but the flip side of that argument is that it was against Mosfar Evelev and Max Holloway, so yeah, 2 of the best in the division. There was one point I thought Arnold Allen was potential title challenger for the division once Volkanovski was out of the way, but those losses did take a bit of steam out of that. And obviously that was before Pantoja just came along and took that thunder again. Still blindsided by that one. But yeah, as for Chikadze, yeah, he's slight underdog, but he's coming off a win though, so not too bad. Maybe that momentum will take him through. Maybe Arnold Allen's really going to fall off from here. We shall see how it plays out tomorrow night. But yeah, Giga Chikadze there for Captain Quebec. C. Collins, 44, next to take on the wheel. And he is also drawn with Mohammed Makayev. Oh. Yeah, after. Yeah, sorry about that. Just got a little bit just took a bit of a drink and just swallowed too much of it. Non-alcoholic, so don't worry about that. I am actually sober tonight. But I swear it's just glass of orange juice. This is doing me worse than alcohol does. Anyway, Mohammed Makayev for C. Collins 44. And as I mentioned earlier, Bellatrix also got Mohammed Makayev. I'm expecting him to win against Manel Cape, and I'm expecting him to be a force in the flyweight division for a few years to come. So, all in all, quite a good pick. I'm expecting you to go through. So, yeah, we'll see you in the next round, I believe. Cheeseball next to take on the wheel. And he gets Cowlin Laughran. Cowlin Laughran there for Cheeseball. Not sure if I've pronounced that right. I know he's supposed technically one of the home fighters being Irish, but even though Ireland is not part of the UK, obviously, make that distinction. But I do struggle with the Irish names as well because you don't really get them over this side of the Irish Sea. So apologies if I mispronounced that one. And if there's any consolation, I do think you're going to win it. I've got you to win by decision up against Jake Hadley, who's he's there, isn't he? He's Jake Hadley. I can't say I've been overly impressed with what I've seen of him so far. He does belong in the UFC. He's good enough that he is a good fighter. He deserves his place in the promotion, but I really can't see him troubling the bantamweight division at all anytime soon. Not in terms of the rankings or title shot, maybe sort of an unranked gatekeeper of sorts. But yeah, no, I am expecting Colin Laughran to just completely dominate that fight and have a clear unanimous decision, maybe even stop him as well. That's not beyond the realms of possibility either. But all in all, good pick there for Cheeseball. Cool Hand Puke next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he gets drawn with for tomorrow night. And he gets Marcin Prashino. Marcin Prashino there for Cool Hand Puke. And he's up against Modestus Buorkas, I believe. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Probably butchered that one as well. I'm expecting him, Buorkas to win by decision on that one, simply because he does go the distance in quite a lot of his fights. And to be fair, with good results, he does usually win quite a lot. A little bit unusual at light heavyweights, but I suppose it's reassuring to see one of the bigger guys actually have a good and consistent gas tank. As for Marcin Prashino, little bit inconsistent with some of his results. 17 wins, 7 losses, and his last 5 particularly going win-loss, win-loss, win. So we're never quite sure which version he's going to turn up on the night. But all in all, I'm always going to side with the more consistent one. So a little bit of luck's needed there for Cool Hand Puke if he's going to make it through to the next round. Costradamus next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he's being drawn with. And he also gets drawn with Giga Chikadze. So just like Captain Quebec earlier, he also gets Giga Chikadze, who, as I mentioned, a close fight with Arnold Allen, but I am expecting Arnold Allen to get the better of him. Expecting him to turn a corner after those losses. Obviously, Chikadze coming off the win against Alex Caceres, who's okay. He's not really troubling the top end of the division, but he's still a solid fighter in the midst of the featherweight rankings. And yeah, it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see him win. I'm not expecting it, but it wouldn't be a major upset. So there's a chance. I wouldn't count on it and certainly wouldn't bet on it, but it wouldn't be completely out of the realm of possibility. I need to move away from that fucking table. I'm gonna keep whacking my hand on that. Right. Just reposition my shit. Right. Okay, so now we're in a better position now. But will Damien Handel be in a better position come tomorrow night? Anyway, we'll see. So, Damien Handel, 420 next to take on the wheel. And he gets Shauna Bannon. I think I've pronounced that right. Shauna Bannon, another Irish lady. Well, I mean, obviously not a Carolyn Laughlin's a lady, but another Irish fighter. Shauna Bannon. And but anyway, for what it's worth, I do fancy her to win. I think she's going to decision win. She's still a little bit untested, 5-1. So not a huge amount of experience going into this fight, but she has accumulated quite a few of those wins in Invicta, which when it comes to judging women's fighters, if they've got wins in Invicta, that is usually a good mark. Because Invicta do tend to sign a lot of women fighters early in their careers, and obviously they've had some great ladies come out of the promotion and go on for to big things, but others not so much. But usually, if you do well in Invicta, it is a good sign. So yeah, that's my reasoning for picking Shona Bannon. Up against Alice Ardilian. 9-5. Again, bit of a journey woman. I can't really see her causing too much trouble in this one. So yeah, it's quite a good pick there for Damien Handel 420. Dr. Maxis 2 next to take on the wheel. And he gets Molly McCann. So Molly McCann there for Dr. Maxis 2. Boom Shakalaka also had Molly McCann earlier, and I do expect her to get the win over Brazil by third round knockout, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, she likes to finish fights and always entertaining to have on the cards. But in terms of troubling the upper reaches of the division, I don't think she's really going to be causing too much trouble in terms of title contention and whatnot. But who knows? Maybe move to a strawweight division will pay off for her. But all in all, quite a good pick. El Guapo up next. I think I pronounced that right. El Guapo, whether it's Guapo or something else. Correct me if I'm wrong. But El Guapo next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he gets drawn with. And he also gets Colin Laughran, or however it's pronounced. So, yeah, obviously, given it's the first round and there's a lot of you in here, in fact, there's more entries than there are fighters actually. So we are going to be doubling up quite a lot, and obviously that limits how much I can ramble. Well, which I'm sure you'll all be pleased to hear. But I am expecting, as I mentioned earlier, Colin Laughran to get the win here by decision, 9-1 up against Jake Hadley, who is, yeah, not overly impressed with so far, but a solid fighter, but not a whole lot of trouble for someone like Colin Laughran. Foghorn Sam next to take on the wheel. And he gets Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin there for Foghorn Sam. Heavyweight prospect, and he's a heavyweight prospect. I'm starting to get a little bit hyped about, to be honest. He's not some massive knockout artist. He has power, obviously, but that's not what he's known for, really. He does go the distance quite a lot, but it is rare, particularly for a heavyweight fighter and one on the rise, to have and manage a good gas tank. So that's going to serve him very well going forward in the future. Still undefeated as well, 9-0, and up against Lucas Berezki, who's he's a tough opponent. His thing has only been knocked out once in the UFC, and the other loss is coming by decision. So somebody with a couple of losses by decision versus somebody that goes the distance and wins most often, it seems quite an easy pick on paper. So on paper, this should be a clear unanimous decision for Mick Parkin, which is obviously good news for Foghorn Sam. KK Kombu next to take on the wheel. And he gets Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen there for KK Kombu. So that creates a little bit of a head-to-head with Kostradamus and Captain Quebec, who both have his opponents, Giga Chikadze. I'm struggling a lot with that name tonight. So yeah, and this is the first time he's got somebody drawn on the side of the favourite, or someone on the side of someone who I perceive to be the favourite anyway. Coming off 2 losses, but looking to rebound, and I think he will. I think he's got the good character on him. He should come back from those losses. Nothing to be ashamed of. Either Liv and Holloway, 2 of the best of the division. So yeah, on home soil as well. Particularly expect him to turn a corner tomorrow night. Yeah, don't mind me just dying a bit. Right. Cushy Cake next to take on the wheel. And he gets Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad's there. And yeah, massively overhated fighter in the UFC fandom. Most of that comes from people perceiving him as boring. I perceive those as casuals, because I mean, sure, he goes the distance a lot. He's not exactly a vicious knockout artist, but he's getting wins, and that's all that matters. That's his style's got him to this position, got him to a title shot. So in a very deep welterweight division as well, and he's had to wait a long time for it. So I'd like to see him win and get that title, and especially if he ends up going on a long title reign afterwards. I would secretly love that. I love a hated champion, a champion that I love that the rest of the UFC fandom seem to hate. I suppose a similar thing with Aljamain Sterling. Everyone seems to hate him after that, but he was a great champion, and I loved it when he kept getting the wins. And hopefully, Bilal Muhammad can have a similar effect. But Leon Edwards isn't going to be an easy person to get past, though. But who knows? Maybe he can do it. Maybe he can just pull off one more win in that incredible win streak he's put together. I don't even know how many it is. It's a lot. It's at least 10, 11, something like that. It's ridiculous. So yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll cause a slight upset. But I'm definitely rooting for Blau in this one. Mason Zero or Mason O next to take on the wheel. And Shauna Bannon is going to be his pick. Shauna Bannon for Mason O. First fight on the card, so we won't have to wait too long for it. Damien Handel also with Shauna Bannon as well. So yeah, quite I say quite a good pick. Who I say by decision, former Invicta fighter. Obviously, still don't know a hell of a lot about her because she's only had 6 fights in her career, but I like what I've seen so far, and I don't see any reason why she won't get past Alice Ardelin. Mule Floyd next to take on the wheel. Let's see who Mule Floyd does. He's the king of breaking down the mayhem that this wheel throws up as well. So thank you for those. They are always amazing to read and really help to structure the cards a bit. Helps when I'm following along. I'm sure a lot of other people appreciate that as well. And he gets Bilal Muhammad, the man I was just raving about. So another one siding with Bilal Muhammad. Also means that Cushy Cake and Mule Floyd are up against Cal Foth, who have Leon Edwards. So the main events might end up being the Lucky Bastard Game main event as well. But not a hell of a lot I can really add to that one, I'm afraid, because I have just been talking about him a couple of minutes ago, how I'd like to see him get the win, go and have a long title reign, and but hopefully tomorrow night will be the start of that, and if it is, you're through to the next round. So, Piggy Bank is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who's going to be Piggy Bank's dance partner tomorrow night. And Piggy Bank gets King Green. King Green there for Piggy Bank. Formerly Bobby Green. I'm sure that's probably what you all know him better as. But obviously he has made that name change official, or at the very least has made it clear that's what he prefers to go by nowadays. So of course I'm going to respect that. And King Green is up against Paddy Pimblett, who I think King Green is good enough to beat Paddy, but obviously Paddy's had a lot of favours since coming into the UFC, and let's not lie about that. He's very much the UFC's golden child. Given the fact that King has had a lot of losses in his career, it's because he's 32 wins, 15 losses, 1 draw. He is very much sort of playing the role of the journeyman, but while still being a very highly regarded fighter in there, still in the rankings. Not sure what ranking it is exactly, but he is still ranked, and deservedly so, because he does stop a lot of fighters on their way up. But I've got Paddy to win by decision in that one. Simply because even if he doesn't earn the decision, he'll get one. So as long as he doesn't get stopped by King, I can see him ending up being given a win here, especially being a home fighter as well in this case. Well, not that it has much relevance on this fight, but one thing I did note was both King and Paddy have wins over Tony Ferguson within the last year. So yeah, just a little bit of trivia there for you. Obviously, King won his one by submission and Paddy won by decision, but it's crazy to think there was a time Tony Ferguson would have absolutely smoked both of them. But anyway, not sure how much bearing it has on the fight, but I did find that stat quite interesting. Nothing else show how active Tony Ferguson still is. Right, Rigno next to take on the wheel. Yep, he also gets Bilal Muhammad. So yeah, definitely at the moment it's looking like the main event will also be the Lucky Bastard main event for this round. So that's 3 against 1 now. Cushy Cake, Mule Floyd, and now Rigno up against who was it earlier? That's Calfoth, that was it. Calfoth with Leon Edwards. And yeah, the fight's going to go the distance. I'm expecting Leon Edwards to get the nod. I'm hoping that Bilal Muhammad gets the nod. But we shall see how that one plays out. Shat next to take on the wheel, our current champion, reigning defending Lucky Bastard champion Shat. Knocked out 6 others in one go to claim his title. So let's see if he'll be equally lucky this time. And yeah, we get quite a good one to start with there. Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott there for our current champion Shat. And up against Preston Parsons. Somebody else had Preston Parsons earlier. Who was it? Kenhago Ruiz had Preston Parsons earlier. And yeah, as I mentioned in that one, I do fancy Oban Elliott to win. And by a clear unanimous decision, I would say as well. Like I say, he's got the prestige behind him, whereas Preston Parsons is really, I suppose, acting as an opponent in this one. He's not consistent, really. And then you got somebody who's coming from Cage Warriors in a contender series like Elliott. It's that just has a unanimous decision win for me written all over it. Especially seeing as how Elliott likes to win a lot of his fights, but it's an opportunity for him to potentially earn a highlight reel finish, though. So I'm sure that might be on his mind as well. But either way, I can see him and subsequently Shat getting through. So good pick all in all. Schwer Industry next. And he gets Marcin Prashino. Marcin Prashino there for Schwer Industry. Somebody else got drawn with him earlier. Just quickly scroll up. Yeah, Cool Hands Puke. We've got Marcin Prashino. So that's 2 in his boats. And yeah, it's excuse me. Right, where is he on this list? There he is. Yeah, obviously the opponents of Oban Elliott as well. Must have got him muddled with Preston Parsons there somehow. I don't know how I did that. Right. Anyway. Yeah, so 2 against 1 there. And as I've just said, I'd expect yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, that's I don't want. Yeah, because they're right next to each other, and I've sort of overlapped them a bit on my nose. So up against Madeus Borges. I was going to say, I swear to God, that guy was a heavier bloke, or one of the big boys. But yeah, yeah, it's a bit messy that section, but I'll just do these in one take, so you're just going to have to put up with that blunder. But in any case, I've got Madeus Borges there to win that fight, to go the distance, and yeah, he's, as I mentioned earlier, a good gas tank on him, and whereas Brashino not the most reliable of guys, so maybe can cause an upset, maybe not. We'll see. I'm not expecting it though. I'm going to be frank. So not the best pick there for Schwer Industry. Me, Stephen Surrey up next. Let's see who I get drawn with. Let's see who, if I get a good one. Yeah, it could definitely be worse. I'm also with Giga Kichadze, as is quite a few others. So at this point, who else is in my boat? Let's see. In the same boat with Captain Quebec and Costradamus. So at least I'm in good company if I go out. But I do still expect Arnold Allen to win, make a bit of a comeback. Hopefully his confidence isn't too shot by those losses, and given how good Holloway and Ivalev are, it shouldn't be. No shame in losing to those guys. So, but I'm not fancying my chances all that much, but it is it could be a lot worse. I'd say 50-50, probably more like 40-60, maybe 30-70. I don't know exactly. But definitely a slight underdog. A new entry, Sweet by Name. Welcome to the game. This is always nice to see new players in here. So let's see who you get drawn with. So good luck with your first ever pick in the Lucky Bastard game. And you get Kiefer Crosby. Kiefer Crosby there for Sweet by Name. And up against Sam Patterson, who's quite a big favourite, if I'm being honest. I'm expecting Sam Patterson to win by first round submission, as he does tend to prefer submission wins. And well, it's as it is, Kiefer Crosby coming off a submission loss in his last fight. So yeah, it doesn't bode well, if I'm being completely honest. A bit of a rough first fighter to get drawn with, but who knows? Maybe they can pull off an upset, but yeah, Sam Patterson is a fairly heavy favourite, and rightly so, unfortunately. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Tyson Magomedov next to face the wheel. And he gets Marcin Prashino, the man I was just talking about earlier, or just now rather. Marcin Prashino, who's again, just depends which Marcin Prashino turns up, the one that can spring an upset, or the one that we've seen a bit too much of late. But he is coming off a win, to be fair to him, so hopefully he keeps that momentum going. Yeah, not an awful lot I can add to that, seeing how many times he's come up now. But slight underdog there against Madeus Bukauskas. The Dirty UFC man next to face the wheel. Let's see who the Dirty UFC man gets drawn with. And he gets Sam Patterson, obviously the opponent of Kiefer Crosby. Sam Patterson there for the Dirty UFC man. And he wins, like I say, well, prefers to win quite a lot by submission. He has got some knockouts on his record as well, to be fair to him, but he does seem to have a preferred style. And against somebody like Kiefer Crosby, it would make sense to stick to that. Definitely far stronger on the ground. And if that's what you need to do to win, do that. Take it to the ground, get the submission win, and move on in your career. Let's see. I'm expecting him to win that, so let's just see if how his career plays out. But as for the Dirty UFC man, I can see him making it through to the second round here. All right, down to the final five now. The MMA historian next. If the wheel works, there we go. The MMA historian with Jake Hadley. Yeah, okay. Jake Hadley. I suppose somebody had to get drawn with him. But yeah, he's up against Calvin Laughran in the bantamweight division, and again, despite being, I suppose, he's English, so he is technically more of the home fighter than the Irish Calvin Laughran is. But I don't expect even a potential home advantage to make a difference here. I'm expecting Laughran to get the win fairly easily by quite a wide margin there. So not overly confident in your picks, I'm afraid, the MMA historian. Trail Allman next face the wheel. And he gets another pick I'm not very confident in, if I'm being honest. Alice Ardeline against Shona Bannon. Although it's the first time that she's come up in this one. So I suppose that's got to count for something. Ardeline. But yeah, on paper it does just look like it's another prospect versus journeyman kind of matchup versus for the UFC's made here. Can expect another easy unanimous decision. I've actually picked quite a lot of these fights to go the distance. Whether that's because I'm thinking the British lads are going to get a bit of hometown bias, be favoured with the judges, but I don't know. I hope we don't see as many decisions as I've written down here on paper anyway. Trig next to take on the wheel. Let's see who gets drawn up against. He gets someone who very rarely goes the distance, Molly McCann. Molly McCann there for Trig. And yeah, as I've mentioned, I'm expecting her to get a win. Not always consistent, but against Bruna Brazil, it's a slight step down in competition compared to the ones she was facing up at flyweight. So I can see her pulling off the win here, and by third round knockout as well. Another one of these statement ones, but potentially get her career a little bit back on track, because she, along with Paddy Pimblett, they were meant to be the golden couple. Paddy's kind of kept that going to an extent with a little bit of a knock, and Molly frankly hasn't, let's be honest. In a way, they remind me of oh fuck, who was it? Sage Northcutt and Paige Van Zandt a few years back. Maybe showing my age a little bit there, but they were meant to be the sort of golden couple of the UFC. Again, same old story. Both got fast tracks. Both got exposed by being rushed a bit. So yeah, this is Northcutt Van Zandt 2.0 kind of situation playing out, I feel. But the only thing that matters for this game is this one fight. And for this one fight, Trig, I'm expecting to get through with Molly McCann. So that's all. Regardless of what happens to the rest of her career, as long as she wins tomorrow, you're through. That's all you care about. Down to the last two now. Troz next to take on the Wheel of Doom. So that's going to be Molly again, but he gets Daniel Pineda for Nelly said Trig again, but no, it's Troz. It's Daniel Pineda for Troz, not Trig. Trig with Molly McCann, Troz with Daniel Pineda. And up against Nathaniel Woods, who's heavy favourites, minus 500 favourite. Making steady progress up the featherweight division. So I think he's going to carry that on to tomorrow night as well. I've got him by decision. Could potentially get a finish, but I think Pineda's good enough that he's not going to get finished. Though he's good enough defensively, got enough experience that he should be able to handle what Nathaniel Wood throws at him. But yeah, I can't see him pulling off the win though. And now finally the last one, ex-con Chris. Let's see who the wheel decides to bless ex-con Chris with. And he also gets Jake Hadley. So yeah, that's not great. One of the ones I'm least confident on the whole card, if I'm being completely honest there. But yeah, there it is. Ex-Con Chris with Jake Hadley, who's as I've mentioned, up against Golan Larfren, who's should win by decision, 9-1 compared to Jake Hadley's 10-3. It's a bit of one of. I did mention earlier there were quite a few one-sided fights in this one, and that is certainly one of them. But Jake Hadley for Ex-Con Chris. That concludes our draw for the first round of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game 22nd edition. Which when I first made the game, that's about 21 editions, more than I thought it was going to last. But anyway, just to run through those names one more time. Who's been drawn with who? I'm sure we've all lost track by now. I know I have. I've all lost the bloody plot. So we have A with Daniel Pineda, Bellatrix with Mohammed Makayev, Boom Shakalaka with Molly McCann, Cal Foth with Leon Edwards, Kanhago Ariz with Preston Parsons, Captain Quebec with Giga Chikadze, C. Collins 44 with Mohammed Makayev, Cheeseball with Carolyn Larfren, Cool Hand Puke with Marcin Prashino, Kostradamus with Giga Kichadze, Damien Handel 420 with Shauna Bannon, Dr. Maxis 2 with Molly McCann, El Guapo also with Carolyn Larfren, Foghorn Sam with Mick Parkin, KK Kombu with Arnold Allen, Cushy Cake with Bilal Muhammad, Mason O with Shauna Bannon, Mule Floyd also with Bilal Muhammad, Piggy Bank with King Green, Rigno with Bilal Muhammad, Shat with Oban Elliott, Schwer Industry with Marcin Prashino, me, Stephen Terry with Giga Kachagate, Sweet by Name with Kaifa Crosby, Tyson Magamanov with Marcin Prashino, The Dirty UFC Man with Sam Patterson, The MMA Historian with Jake Hadley, Trail Allman with Alice Ardeline, Trig with Molly McCann, Troz with Daniel Pineda, and Ex-Con Chris also drawn with Jack Hadley. So, good luck to all of you. Good luck for all your any bets you might have on this card, but most importantly, good luck with the next round. I know some of you are going to need it more than others. All in all, I feel there's quite a few that have been given slight underdog picks, so this could be a brutal first round. Maybe the wheel's going to decide to get rid of more than half of you. I mean, statistically speaking, we should see a roughly 50% elimination rate each time. I've got a feeling this might just be a little bit more than that. So we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out in the cage tomorrow night. One thing I will mention, a little bit disappointed nobody got drawn with the co-main eventers, either Tom Aspinall or Curtis Blades. I'm picking Tom Aspinall to win by second round knockout. Simply because their last fight ended in a bit of a freak injury, so we can't really take too much from that. And I would expect Aspinall, this is also for the interim heavyweight belt, which is now complete bullshit, because let's be honest, it's clear that Dana White's not going to be stripping John Jones for inactivity. So if you're not going to strip your current champion for any reason, like, or let's be honest, injury, KO, whatever, or inactivity, cowardness, what is not going to strip John Jones. So what's the point in having an interim champion if you're never going to promote him? But yeah, no, I just needed to get that one off my chest. I would have done that if any of you had been drawn with them, but just needed to get that one out of my system. Otherwise, I'd have just been keeping that inside as a boiling rage, and that wouldn't have been psychologically healthy for anyone. So, anyway, I think that's everything covered, all the basics covered, and yeah, all I've got to say now is just good luck to all of you. Good luck with your picks for this one. Good luck with your picks on Tapology. And Until next time, so long for now.